Hello and welcome to Tiffany's Tiny Things. Last few videos I've done some pretty spooky dolls, so I thought it's time to make a really cute one. So I decided to make another Blythe customization, and this time I'm going to make Kiki from Kiki's delivery service. This will actually be my first Studio Ghibli doll, but I've thought about making one for a long time, so here's the time. Yeah, that's my plan for today, so let's get started.
To make Kiki, we are going to use this Blythe doll, and we'll start with taking her apart. And I always put all the little bits and pieces and screws in a bowl. So let's take her completely apart, take out the T-bar, the eyes, take out the eyes from the eyelids, and so on. And I also will remove the eyelashes because she will get new ones later. And here we have all the bits. I prepared Kiki's blue dress by laying out the pattern pieces like this, and now we are just going to sew them all together, and I'll start by the shoulders and then the sides and the sleeves. And here we have the finished little dress. I added a Velcro to the back of it. You can put buttons if you want, but I think Velcro is good. So here we have that. And just so she isn't so naked under the dress, I made her some underpants and a little top with buttons. And I think it will fit Kiki perfectly. And of course, Kiki needs her little black cat. I made a very simple pattern, just two-sided, and I will stitch the two sides together with the wrong side out. And then I just cut off the excess from the edges. And then I fray check it. And then I just turn the right side out, and then I add the little tail that I just took some yarn and braided together. So I put that in the hole that I left. So I start with some stuffing, so we fill out the little cat, and then I add the tail at the end. Then I just stitch the little hole together, and the cat is ready for painting. So I paint on the eyes and the nose and in the ears with some regular glossy acrylics. If I had felt, I would have used that, but I think the paint works just as well. And there we have a finished little cat. And then I will make her orange bag. Because this bag is kind of boring, I will make the inside a little bit more exciting instead with this flowery fabric. Let's stitch that together. And here we have the finished little orange bag for her, and it's going to be working. I will add a button to it on the front and this little faux button on the outside. So I just stitch that on by hand, and then we will have a working little bag, as you see. And for her big red bow, I just added a red bow on top of this headband I bought from AliExpress, and you see it's very cute. Now I will remove the eyes from the eyeballs, and as usual I use a hot glue stick. I stick it to the eye, and when the hot glue has cooled down, I can just pull it out easily. And then I just cut it off and throw it out. And now it's time for the most boring part, I think, and that's sanding everything. I sand the eyelids, the back of the head, and the face. And I start with a kind of a 240 grade sandpaper, and when I'm done, I use 3000 grit. Now I just sketch out the features on the face that I will be carving with just a regular pencil. And for the biggest features, I use my Dremel, and I alternate between different bits on it. You see, this is how I carefully shape out the lips and around the nose. For the smallest features, I use my X-Acto knife, such as the creases in the lips and just the smallest details. And when I'm happy with that, I sand everything once again and finish with the finest grit, so we don't have any scratches left. Now it's time for the body modifications. I will add this neck joint that I bought from Beth Ramsden. As you see, I cut off the top part, then I pre-drill a hole so I'm sure that it's in the middle, and then I just attach the neck joint. Now I will stabilize the knees, and for that I use these very tiny little flathead screws. I pop off the lower part of the leg, poke a little hole, and then attach the screw. And it's important that it's really screwed down flat into the leg. And then I will put the upper leg part in boiling hot water and just push back the leg inside. As you see, now the legs are much tighter and will not bend as easily as before because, you know, the head is quite heavy on these dolls. So now I will just glue in the new eyes into the eyeballs, and I just use regular glue for this. And then I wipe off the excess glue from the outside when I'm done. Now it's time for painting the face, and as usual I start with spraying the face with at least 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear UV flat, and then I sketch out the features very lightly with a light colored watercolor pencil. I use Faber Castell and Derwent watercolor pencils. I really just sketch out the eyebrows and a little bit around the eyes on my Blythe dolls, and then I just fill out the eyebrows with darker and darker colors as I go. When I'm happy with one layer, I seal it in with Mr. Super Clear. For the tiniest little strands of hair here, I go very lightly and then I highlight them at the end with the white pencil. And now I used my soft pastels for the shading and blushing of the face. She needs some rosy cheeks, some lips, the nose and chin also. I also add a little bit of blue in the corner of the eyes because it makes the face look a little bit more natural. And then I decided she needs freckles, so I picked a couple of colors that are freckle colored, I guess. And when I'm completely happy with the face, I seal everything in with a couple of layers of Mr. Super Clear again. For the finalization of the face, I gloss the lips with some glossy varnish. And of course I need to decorate the back plate of the head, and I sign it with my name and what year it is, of course what character it is. I chose this really iconic picture of Kiki for the backplate, and I just paint it with watercolor pencils and then fill it in with acrylics. And I think it's kind of important to match the front and back plate, so I just use the same soft pastels as before to shade and blush the ears and a little bit onto the backside, as you see here. And now I'll decorate the eyelids. She'll get a red bow here on one side and a black cat on the other, and I'll use regular acrylics for this, and then I blush them with some soft pastels, and I'll seal everything in with some glossy varnish. I almost forgot her broomstick, so let's make that. I just used this stick that's for plants, I think, and some regular acrylic yarn. We need quite a lot of that, and then I just cut that up to the right length and glue it onto the stick so it doesn't move around, and then I just tie it off with 2 knots. Now all the pieces are done and we can start putting her together. So I'll start with putting in the eyes and carefully put in the eyes into the face. And I pre-made these pull strings for her. And now we'll try out the T-bar. I've learned the hard way to try out the T-bar before I cut off a bit of it. And this is to gaze correct her, as you say. I want her to look up a little because now she has this kind of stare straight ahead. And now we want her to have an upward gaze instead. So I just put in the pull strings. So now we just try out the mechanism, that it works correctly, and it does. So let's put in the body. And first I screw the wig in place, and then I push in the new neck joint in place. And now we just click the 2 halves together and put the screws back where we found them. So here are all the pieces that are included. If you would like to buy Kiki, she is now available in my Etsy shop. Let's get her dressed and ready for the beauty shots. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget to push the bell button so you don't miss my next video. And a big thank you to my Patreons. You are the best, and if you also would like to be one of my patrons or want to check out my Etsy shop, you find the links for that in the description box down below the video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.